me holler in a minute. I definitely feel if I see any power flashes.
And let's go over to Vaughn for a minute. Vaughn has been kind of going back and forth on some of these storms. Vaughn, if you're with me right now, can you tell us? I see you moving up Broken Arrow Expressway on the east side of Broken Arrow. Where are you headed? Vaughn, are you there? Okay, I hear Vaughn, but he doesn't hear me. So what okay, if he's not there, okay, we will, we have those guys all located and go in different directions. JD, we have on this storm to the north. We also have Mark, who's watching this storm to the northeast, and we have Darren, which is right over here looking back. So I was trying to arrow where everybody is located and what's happening with that. Is JD on the line with me right now? JD, you're not there? Okay, all right. What I want to do is make sure that folks know that as we look at this storm track, and Dick has a look at that on Pathfinder right now, this is still a very impressive thunderstorm complex. We still have tornado warnings in effect for this area. This is running again on the south side of Inola. Here's a hook right in that vicinity. We do not have a major circulation feature right there, but it is just enough that it's concerning. That something could happen. Again, a tornado warning has been in effect for this area, and we're talking about this warning should be. We also had power outages to multiple feeders to the National Weather Service radio. We had a couple tornado warnings also, and tornadoes in northwest Arkansas besides one at Oklahoma City, and I don't see Oklahoma City right now having a. Do they still have tornado on the ground right now? Is that on the ground live? That's live. Can you also give me a side-by-side view with Oklahoma City for a minute? We'll go back to that. And okay. Is he? Okay. And what we're going to do is this is Oklahoma City on the left side. This is not in Tulsa. This is still a tornado on the ground. This was in Westmore. I think it's still kind of in that location there that we're looking at. And I am going to back off just a minute so you can see the whole grouping of what's going on here. So the tornado warning is on the south side of Oklahoma City. And then we have our tornado warning here on the east side of Tulsa. We have the tornado warnings to the north that Dick was on for just a minute ago. Tell us a little bit. And Dick, I'm going to have you go back and update that in just a second, if you would. I'm going to just take a quick look down at Oklahoma City so folks kind of, if they have friends down there, this is the area. It's going right past the Moore area. I do not have the radar localized for Oklahoma City at this particular moment. Okay. Okay, and okay, Dick's mentioning also on the east side of Broken Arrow some strong winds now with this secondary part, and then we have as well the one that's near Inola, and we have the one further north that Dick will look at in just a second. So I wanted you to see the bigger picture, and also Oklahoma City with the Moore tornado and the what's going on there. I don't know. I haven't been watching the videos. I've been looking at the maps, but I can't tell if that left the ground or not. We do not have an active tornado on the ground here in northeast Oklahoma. Otherwise, I would not be even showing that at this moment. But that gives you a perspective of where these storms are and kind of what's going on with the folks down in Oklahoma City. So that's on the east side now of Moore. Oh, good grief. Good grief. And then back to the northeast, we come back. The Chandler area, still a pretty intense storm. We have our storms. Obviously, they're a little bit more wrapped up. We have two parts of the storm. There's one that's down in Calleyville area. This is not super bad, but it is a severe thunderstorm with hail potential. We also have, obviously, the storms that are located here around the Inola area. And we also have the areas to the northeast, which continue to be quite intense. So we're still active with several tornado warnings at this particular moment. And Dick Farrow has been watching both of those. And around the Grand Lake area, that does not look quite as bad as what I thought it was. Dick Farrow will let us know. Dick, what do you got?
Well, I'm seeing the same thing, Travis. At least from what we're seeing on radar, it would appear that what circulation there was is no longer a very evident feature. We'll go ahead and put a track on. I'll use more of a line feature here just to give you an idea. The leading edge of that is basically about like this, moving in on Pensacola to about the Strang area. And again, it's moving east at about, there we go. You can see again, get this out of the way, reposition things to get a little better ideas what we're concerned with. Again, the leading edge of that will likely still have some very strong and gusty winds associated with it, but right now at least, I'm not seeing anything that would suggest any kind of a well-defined circulation feature associated with that. So at this point, again, we do have warnings that are still in effect, but I would anticipate that that will be allowed to expire. Quite frankly, that appears to be on the north side of a frontal boundary that's up there, so it's really not in a particularly favorable environment anyway. but we'll have to keep a close eye on that particular system. Also, I need to point out that we have a very heavy storm that is located east of Claremore. There have been some indications of some circulation features associated with that one, but again, it's not in an overly favorable environment, but nonetheless, hail and quite possibly some damaging localized winds may be occurring as that heads basically towards the Pryor area. And so those two storms that are over the north and more northeastern areas from the one that we've been mainly emphasizing still have the potential for causing problems with respect to hail and possibly some damaging winds. But from what we've been able to see on radar, and I'm not seeing anything else that would suggest that there's been anything that has actually reached the ground with respect to a circulation feature. So, yeah, you folks basically from the south end of Grand Lake, moving in on Pensacola as we speak, down towards Strang, Ketchum, Langley, that vicinity. You folks need to be aware that this storm has a potential for hail as well as some locally damaging winds and could cause a brief spin-up. That is certainly a possibility. Same thing with the activity that is just to the west of Pryor. There's Harmony Star, for example. It would be east of Tiowa now, northwest of Choteau. Excuse me, that storm also has a potential, at least, for causing a brief spin-up. We've not had any reports of anything that has actually touched down, but it certainly has a potential for some locally damaging winds and also hail, which has been a very real concern with all of these storms throughout the course of their history. So that's going to be a very real issue also over the course of the next next 30 minutes or so at any rate. There's the storm that Travis was just talking about, the one that's near Inola. We also have this one that's located just to the southwest of that, which could also be an issue. We've been seeing indications on radar that one potentially having some locally damaging winds as well. Main circulation appears to be just east of that, but again, this one is a concern. So those storms are obviously something we'll be keeping a close eye on over the course of the next few minutes as well, actually throughout their life cycle.